around. Okay, whenever you're ready, please, Rachel.
My name's Rachel Nightingale, and I'm a baby signing teacher on the Wirral with Sing and Sign, and I've just had my second baby, little boy. He hasn't got a name yet. He's 19 days old today, so it's pretty appalling that he hasn't got a name, but that's it. So I just wanted to tell you a bit about my experience of his birth, because I was introduced to HypnoBirthing by Susie O'Hare, and I read the book by Marie Mongan on HypnoBirthing, and I found, both what I learnt from Susie and from the book extremely helpful during the birth. My labour started, I had a show 3 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon, and then nothing at all then until 5:30 the following morning, and then my contractions started very gently, and then he was actually born at just before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was a 10-hour labour in total, but 5-hour what they call active labour. It was a planned home birth, and I also had him in a birthing pool, a water pool as well, and I just can't speak highly enough really of home birth and water birth and HypnoBirthing in terms of it being an incredible experience really, compared to my first labour, which was not bad. I didn't have a bad first labour at all, but it was in hospital. I was basically on my back with my legs in the air, the baby was being monitored. This time it was just, it was kind of a humbling experience to be part of really, and so I would just recommend anybody to look into it, and if you've got, if you sort of, it speaks to you, then take from it what you can to enrich your experience of birthing, because it truly is one of the most incredible things in this life, and not something to be afraid of. And I think in our culture we're bombarded with images of the pain and the screaming and the agony of childbirth, and actually there's so much about it that is beautiful, and I think HypnoBirthing helps us as women to grab some of that back for ourselves. And the other thing I would say about HypnoBirthing is that I was lucky, as I said. I wanted a home birth, I wanted a water birth, and I had a low risk pregnancy. I didn't have any complications, and I could have that. So I had him here in my living room in a pool, and that was fantastic. But even if there had been complications, even if there had been an emergency, if I'd had to go to hospital for example, I always thought, well, I'll still have HypnoBirthing, because that's here, that's in my head. What I've learned about birthing through Susie and through the reading of the Marie Mongan book is in my brain, and that can't be taken away from me. And so even if the pregnancy had got complicated or the labour had got complicated, I would have still been able to maintain that. And just to say briefly what I found so helpful about it, the main thing was, first of all, being in touch with your own body and understanding how your body works in labour, understanding what your uterus is like, where the muscles are, how when you have a contraction or a surge, that the uterus comes up, and that the breathing that you can do can help to extend that. That I found very helpful. The slow breathing that you're taught in HypnoBirthing was absolutely amazing, in terms of just being able to maximise the surges, and being able to control my experience of the whole event. I really found that very helpful. The other thing I found great was the affirmations, positive affirmations. So I had 2 or 3 kind of in my head that just sort of popped into my head about my body is ready. So whenever there was a surge, I would just be doing the breathing, and I would be thinking to myself, my body is ready. And then as the baby came, as it got stronger and stronger, I started saying to myself, my baby is coming, like that. So that really helped. And then right at the end, when I was wallowing around in the pool, I was saying, I'm marvellous as well. So that was my final affirmation. And the other thing that I found really helpful was visualisation. So for me, the thing that worked for me was visualising a photograph of my daughter when we were on holiday in France, and I was giving her a bath in the washing up bucket. And it's just a really, really cute picture. And so if ever it started to feel like it was going to get too much, I just brought that to mine, and that just helped to take the edge off it totally. So that was all fantastic. And then when it came to the actual, the other thing that I could not believe, but is true, is the stuff about not pushing. I could not believe when Susie was telling us, well, in HypnoBirthing we don't really talk about pushing the baby out, and you know, having already had a baby, I thought, well, that seems extraordinary, how is that possible? But it really is true. It really is true. You can train your brain and recondition yourself not to push, and that's what happened. And the baby was coming down the birth canal, and my midwife, who was absolutely brilliant, she kept kind of coming in and checking and seeing if I was okay, and putting the Doppler on my belly to check the heartbeat. And she basically couldn't believe that my labour was progressing because I was so calm and so relaxed, and she was thinking, well, you know, it stopped, something strange is going on here. And then she said, do you feel the need to push? And I just kept saying, I'm not pushing, I'm breathing this baby out. And I think she thought, well, you're doing what? But it was true, and instead of kind of clenching and bearing down, I just breathed using the birth breathing, which just comes really, really naturally. And it was, I would say, it was only literally the last 2 or 3 surges before he came out where I felt that I did want to assist him a bit by pushing, but even then I didn't kind of, you know, hold my breath. I breathed it through, but just felt like I wanted to bear down a bit as well. And just imagine this J shape that they talk about in hypnobirthing for him coming out. And he just came out, first the head, and then the body in the water, and the midwife got him from behind, and my initial reaction was, and this is really mad, oh, it's over. I kind of felt a bit, instead of whereas with my first baby, when I've been pushing and pushing and pushing for hours and hours and hours, I was just so bloody relieved that it was over. There was a part of me that kind of thought, because we know that we're not having any more children, that's it, it's finished. And there was a bit of me that felt a bit sad, which is kind of wacky really, but. And she passed him up through my legs, and there he was. So, and not a mark on him, absolutely perfect. No, with my first baby was all squished up like this. He wasn't at all. He was no marks. He was absolutely. He was crying, but he was, you know, he was fine. He was calm. All his APGAR scores and everything were absolutely perfect. He breastfed easily. The other benefit I found is the lack of trauma to my tail end, for want of a better word, compared to the first time is unbelievable. I did need a couple of stitches, but nothing major. I straight away could do my pelvic floors again because I hadn't been pushing for hours as I had with my first baby. So that, you know, that's been amazing. I could walk, and with my first baby afterwards I was sort of, you know, tottering round for several days afterwards. The bleeding has been a lot less. So physically and emotionally I've made a much quicker and better recovery from the birth, which has meant that I've been able to concentrate on him and concentrate on getting breastfeeding established. So that's been another major advantage, I would say. And just that it's, you know, as I say, quite a humbling experience, and has enriched my life being able to give birth this way. And so good luck to all of you that are lucky enough to be giving birth, and I hope that you find something helpful for you, something that speaks to you in hypnobirthing.